Apple, stock code AAPL. This is one of the most popular stock in the US market, which I get asked quite often on. So prices have came down by more than, I would say, 20% since its peak about 2 months back. And a lot of people have been asking me, is it time to buy right now? Is it time to get in? Should we be more cautious? And even if we think about buying, what are some of the levels that we can think about potentially getting in? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier MyZero trader in Philips Securities, and in today's video we'll be diving into this very popular stock, Apple, right? Stock code AAPL. We'll do a quick analysis on the chart. We'll dive into the system that I have to see what it says. Are there any bullish or maybe even bearish signals that have came out over the past few weeks? And what does it look like? All right, what are some of the support levels that you can potentially think about, bargain hunting on this stock? I mean, this is one of the most popular stock, very strong uptrend over the past few years, but of course we saw some weakness in the past few months due to talks about inflation, about rate hikes. Apple got hit as well, and of course over the past few weeks we did manage to see some weakness due to some news coming in. So let's dive into the chart of Apple before I explain more some of the factors that are affecting Apple and what should we be doing right now. Alright, so this is Apple right here trading at about 146. I want to share with you this level, which I talked about in some of my other videos as well. This would be the 150, alright, psychological support level. Look at this right here. So, since the beginning of the year, alright, I mean, even last year as well, we have been holding above this 150 level. You can see we can manage to rebound right here, right in the beginning of the year. And of course, this was like the resistance level just in November last year when we saw it go up all the way to about 180, 185, a couple of touches, and that's where we form a very firm resistance. So resistance wise, I would say levels where you can think about getting out, about locking in some profits, will be somewhere near that 180 to 185. Look at this, we have touched this level many times. There was in February, even somewhere in April, and even just about 2 months back in August, we kind of like neared this 180 level, and selling started to come back. We started to retrace all the way back down. But when we retrace back down, you can see that we approach this support level, right, back to the same 150. 150 would be what we call a psychological support level. It was the resistance. You can see a couple of touches here. 1, 2, swing up, swing down, swing up. So it was a couple of touches here for like about 1 month plus as we traded below that 150. But when we broke this 150, you can see the rally really started all the way up to near 180, and then selling came back. So over the past 1 to 2 weeks, what happens was we have seen some weakness in Apple because they kind of came out in the news whereby there's kind of like a lesser demand. I mean, demand kind of like came in lower than expected, all right, and that's where Apple kind of like told their suppliers to kind of reduce production, and people kind of like ride on that negative news, and Apple sold off as well, right? So we are currently trading below the $150 mark. It's still like 146, which is below 140. So I would say that below this 150 level, we can potentially see a little bit of weakness. I mean, even though over the past few days we saw some good bargain hunting coming back because the market started to rebound, but I would say anything below 150, we might see a little bit of weakness all the way towards the next critical support level, and that would be the 130, right? So just think of this level to 130. Look at this right here. So this was where we were somewhere around June when the market started to sell. We found a bit of support and rebounded really strongly. Look at this right here. From 130, it went all the way. Let me just see how many percent that would be. So from 130, we kind of like shot up all the way to like about 32%, right? To somewhere near the 180. And then selling came back. So I think 130 would be a really good support level, all right? And just look back last year, all right, for this 130, besides just being a support 2 months back, you can see it was originally this resistance level in 2021, right? Just last year, you can see a little bit of support here as well. And when we broke this 130, that's where the rally of the uptrend started last year. So resistance to support level, and yes, we have indeed tested 2 months back. Now we could potentially be on our way, all right, towards the 130. All right, so anything near the 130, in fact, I think just a few days back we went to a low of around that 137, right? So about 137, and bargain hunting started to come back. So anything near 130, right? It could be like 132, 135, 137, 36. Anything near 130, and here's where some good bargain hunting can come back in. For those of you who have kind of like got out, I mean, you've taken profit on Apple near the 180, 185 mark, like I mentioned, now could actually be a good time. I mean, this is one of those fundamentally strong stocks in the US market. I would say very strong fundamentally, very strong following, very loyal customers, coming up products, you know, every single year. And this Apple, I think, is one of those really strong companies to think about getting in on bargain hunt, especially at cheap, attractive prices if it were to actually hit that. All right, so 130 would be the key level, all the way to about 150. That is the near-term target. Of course, it might consolidate. So what I think will happen for Apple is that we might actually consolidate still below the 150. It could be a few days, could be a few weeks. It might just go up, swing down. You know, you can just consolidate up here. And of course, when we start to eventually break that 150 again, right, the 150 level, like what we saw over here in July, right? And of course, as I said, this was like support. We broke down, it came down, but when we saw this break above the 150, that could lead to the upside reversal all the way back up towards the 170 to 180 level. And that's where you can potentially think about locking in some profits again. But right now, as I say, we are still below 150, so let it consolidate a little while, find a little bit of a base, find some good support coming back again before we get prepared for that reversal move. And that's where you want to be ready to ride the reversal when it happens. So let's take a look at what it says on the system that I have. I have this system called 1GT. Let's take a look at what it says right now. So here is Apple AAPL on my 1GT system, one good trend, whereby we had a couple of bullish and even bearish signals that came out since last year. So it kind of like guides us on when to get in, when to get out. Of course, alerts us on companies like this as well, right? So just last year, let me just zoom in right here. You can see that it was a really good uptrend, as I mentioned, one of those really strong uptrending counter before all these talks about rate hikes and inflation. It was doing really well. See, since October, November, we got a few bullish. This is a green arrow pointing up bullish signal in October. In November, started to push up from like 140 all the way up to like 180, and that's where we started to see a little bit of a bearish or exit signal. Look at this red arrow coming out, it went down. Another exit signal somewhere in April this year, and started to push all the way down. A couple of bearish signals as we sold off as well. Look at this right here, another bearish signal. So let me just zoom into where we are right now. So as I mentioned, right, we kind of like found a little bit of a support around the June, right? We were actually consolidating, all right, just below the 150 with some support about 130, right? So that was where we kind of got this bullish signal coming in. You can see right here, bullish signal, it went out all the way, and then we got an exit, and that's where weakness started again somewhere in August, right? Just about 2 months back. So weakness. So a couple of bearish signals coming out. Look at this bearish red arrow down. A bearish signal looks a little bit weaker. Another bearish signal coming out on 13th of September. You can see we started to sell down. Of course, we broke the 150 support that I talked about as well. So right now, you can see that for Apple, the most recent signal would be one that is a little bit more bearish. That would be on 13th of September. 20th of September. So this bearish signal is still playing out right now. There are no exits yet on this bearish signal, so it might look a little bit bearish still, I would say. As I say, anything below that 150 in the short term, we might still be a little bit weaker, but doesn't mean it's like bearish in the long term. It will like come all the way crashing down. I think it's still one of those really good, fundamentally strong companies that we can think about bargain hunting, about getting in on dips at some of those really, really attractive support levels. So right now there is a bearish signal. Well, fine, no problem. All right, let it come back down a little bit. As I say, if we do head towards the 130, or 130 support level, anything from 130, 135, 133, we might see an exit. We might consolidate it. We might see a little bit of bargain hunting, a bit of buying pressure coming back, and you never know, right? That's where we might see a new bullish signal coming back. Maybe like what we see over here, we might see a new bullish signal coming back that can lead the reversal back up all the way to like 150. Of course, if 150 breaks, all the way back up to near that 180 support level, right? So this is Apple. I'll be looking at the system to see what it says, if there are any exits on this bearish signal, and maybe even a new bullish signal that comes out that can guide us on when to enter again to catch that reversal all the way back up. All right, so this is Apple on my 1GT system. Alright guys, so this is Apple, and I hope you have a clearer understanding of where we are for Apple in terms of some of the key levels that I talk about, some of the support levels whereby we can potentially think about getting in to catch the reversal or the rebound. As I mentioned, this is one of those fundamentally strong companies, right, whereby it's been a really, really strong uptrend since many years back. But of course, over the past 6 to 8 months, we saw some weakness as they consolidate sideways as well. But that's where we could potentially get in on a discount, right? So I hope you like this video, guys. If you do like like this video, guys, go ahead to give me a like, and of course smash the subscribe button as well. That will really help out the channel. Of course, let me know in the comments below what is your take on Apple, what have you learned in this video. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer to each and every one of the comments. So you want to find a little bit more on the whole entire framework or the whole entire strategy, my one good trend strategy. You can count like 10 more of those free web class that we're still running. Alright, go ahead and click on the link just below this video, around this video. Click on the link right there, and that's where you can find a little bit more, 10 more of those web class, whereby I'll share with you a little bit deeper on what is the whole entire framework, what do we look out for, what is the trend, where do you want to think about positioning ourselves to get in at certain what we call hot zones, alright, or opportunity zones, right? That's where you can think about getting in as well, right? So attend one of those web class, and you can find out a little bit more on how we use the system to guide us on entry and exit as well, and how you could actually have access to that as well. Alright, so Joey here. Thank you so much for watching.